Welcome to the shop. I'm Daniel with Bearded Viking Woodworks. In today's video, we're gonna... Hey, I got it from here, buddy. Yeah, let me take care of this. In today's video, we're gonna be building another 3 badass projects. And be sure to stick around to the end because the 3rd project is by far the best. High five. Our first project is gonna be built using only a circular saw and an impact. Yeah, I'm cross-branded. We're gonna be building these awesome rustic towel racks. We're gonna be building these out of some 2x8 that's about 4 foot long. And we're gonna head outside and rip some 1.5 by 1.5 pieces. Let me show you an easy way to get your 1.5 lines marked on your board for ripping with a circular saw. Take your speed square and make sure you have a sharp pencil and find your 1.5 mark, and there should be a notch if you have a Swanson speed square, and just put your pencil in that notch and run it down the board. And there's your 1.5 mark all the way down. You're gonna want to go ahead and get 2 of these ripped to 1.5 inches. And you guess what part's next? One of my favorites. Beating the hell out of these things. Quite literally. Yeah, take that. Sorry. I heard that a bag of nuts and bolts will work just fine, but I've got the nuts and the bolts right here. I am so tempted to use the miter box, but I'm going to cut it with the circular saw just to show you that that is all you need for this project. You need to cut 2 at 24 inches, 2 at 10 inches, and 4 at 4 inches. Now, this is where CA glue and activator come in handy. Keep in mind, we're only using an impact driver for this project. No jigs. So I've got my 2 24-inch pieces laid out right here, and we'll take and add a dab of glue right at the very bottom of our first piece. Hit your opposite end with a little bit of activator. Make sure you line it up nice and flush to the bottom and the sides, and it doesn't hurt to make sure you're square. We're going to be using some 2.5-inch T20 screws for the back side. For the front side, we'll use our dowel maker and make some 1/4-inch dowels. That way we can cover up our holes. Now, as far as the type of finish that I would do for a piece like this, being that it'll be in the bathroom, I'll probably do a little burning, some shoshugebon. and then I'd put a clear coat of poly over it. Now, as far as the sellability of these things, I gotta be honest, I've never made one of these or tried to sell one. I did, however, reach out to a couple of friends of mine that are on Etsy that make these, and they say that they do really well year round, and they're selling theirs for around 50, upwards of 80 for some of them. That's a big ass profit. The material cost for something like this, if you make it out of this pine, I mean, realistically, you're looking at $3. That is a lot of room for a lot of money. Before we move on, I want to take a minute and thank all of my paying members on YouTube. This channel would not be possible if it wasn't for your support. We've got members in all 3 levels of membership. So if you're interested in members only content, consider becoming a member today. There's 3 levels that you can choose from. And don't forget to check out our merch shop for your official Bearded Viking merch. Also, our Facebook group link in the description. Go request to join and we'll get you approved today. For our second project, this thing is one of the most popular projects all year round. So we're gonna jump right in and build this beer caddy. I've been wanting to build this project for quite some time now, and now is the best time. And you know how I like to do it. I like to put spin on everything. Nice shot. Now, the way we're going to be building this project is for every skill level woodworker. I'm going to keep it simple, doable, and profitable. We're going to take this piece of 2x4 cutoff I have, and you need to have at least 26 inches because 4 inches or so is going to be going into the ground. Thinking about when you sit down, you want to have at least 18 inches where you can reach your beer nice and cozy. I've also got this piece of cedar, and this will be my top. So pretty much I'm taking the design that I showed you earlier and scratching that, and we're going to do our own thing on this project. Let's get our 2x4 ripped down to 1.5 inches. Now that we've got 2 of them at 1.5 inches, we're gonna cut one at 8 inches at the miter box. Now what you wanna do is pull down from your top 4.5 inches. And what we're gonna be doing is what is called a lap joint, where both pieces will be dadoed out to accept each other. So from that 4.5 inch mark, we'll pull down 1.5 inches. And then for our 8 inch piece, we'll mark center at 4 inches. And from that center mark, what you want to do is pull over 3/4 on either side. Damn roosters. And we'll go ahead and get these notched out right here at the table saw. And you can do this with a dado stack or a single blade like how I'll be doing. Set your depth at half the distance of the 2x. So for our top is 3/4 inch. So how I want to fasten our top to this piece, I could just set it on top and glue it and put a screw through the top, but I want it a bit stronger than that. So what I'm going to do is a through mortise and tenon. So what I'll do is pull down 1 inch because I want it to be a bit proud of 3/4. And we'll square that up and we'll get our blade height set to 3/8 inch. And that should leave us with a 3/4 tenon that we can then mortise through our top. So let me demonstrate. I'll get my stop block set where I need it to make repetitive cuts. And cut this on all 4 sides. And then we'll take our mortise and tenon jig And if you missed the video on how I made this jig along with 4 other jigs, I'll link it right up here in the corner of this video. So we'll get our blade height set right below our cut we made on the crosscut sled. Get our jig set to where it will leave us with that 3/4 inch notch. And your piece should look just like this with a little 3/4 inch nub.
Nubby, nubby, nubby.
All right, so we got a great fit for our cross member here. Now, before we move on to anything else, we're gonna go ahead and cut that stake portion of the bottom of this piece that will stick in the ground. And I'm just eyeballing here to get 2 sharp angles on the opposite sides. Let's go ahead and set this aside, and we're gonna rip our 1x here to 7 inches. Bring our top over here and get it cut to 14 inches. All right, we're gonna add a little bit of oomph to this piece. From both edges, we'll pull in 1.5 inches, and then from the side, we'll pull over 5.5 inches on both sides. And what we'll do is just connect those 2 lines. That will be coming off on all 4 corners. And there's all sorts of ways that you can cut these angles, but I'm going to do it here at the bandsaw. Now we'll find center of our whole piece, which is 7 inches. Mark that on both sides, and then we'll mark center going across. We'll set our bottom piece here right on those center marks we made, and just lightly mark with a marking knife. That way we can get an accurate notch. And then for our beer holes, what the hell is a beer hole? For our drink holes or whatever, we're gonna pull in 3 inches, and that will be the center of our holes. So let's head to the drill press and take care of all of our holes. So for our notch that our tenon will go in, we're going to take this drill bit and just drill right through the center and then chisel out the rest. That may sound intimidating, but it's really not that difficult. So let me demonstrate. So we'll take and follow our marking knife lines that we made earlier and just chisel right to those lines all the way through. And there we have it. Now what you're going to want to do is bring your stake to a vise of some sort and just cut down about 3/4 of the way directly in the center. Then you want to drill a hole right at the bottom of that cut. And I'm going to go ahead, before we do anything else, and get this thing sanded to 150 grit. We'll go ahead and check this out with a dry fit. Oh yeah, that's nice and snug. See, I got all of this glue surface here now. So that's going to work out much better. So we'll pop that off. And we'll add a dab of glue. Slide that up in there. And we'll take a cut off of the side piece that we cut and use that as a wedge. Just give her a couple love taps. We'll let this thing dry and then come back and cut that flush. While that's drying, we'll go ahead and take our last piece and get it glued on, and get some glue on both of these pieces. That way you get good surface area glued. Add a dab of glue. And just set that right in there like so. Clean up any squeeze out and we'll add a little clamp to that. Alright, we'll set this to the side and let it dry. Alright, now that that's dry, we'll go ahead and get that cut off flush. Hit it with a little bit of sandpaper. And you've got yourself a badass, ground penetrating beer caddy. I've got the material calculated at $8. That's max. So with our beer caddy being a ground penetrating caddy, I've got a clear coat of poly that I'm going to slap on this. Extra heavy at the bottom as well. Check out what they're asking for this one. $70. That's crazy. I would feel comfortable asking around $45 for mine, and that would be a comfortable profit margin for me. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and share this content so we can beat this algorithm. I didn't have time to get to the third project. We're already at 17 minutes. I promise you it'll be worth it for the next video. Until next time, get in your shop and make some sawdust. Skull.